Today we're going to talk about how to sit. Sitting seems like it should be the most obvious thing in the world, but just like anything else, we've overcomplicated things in this world and it creates a lot of problems. So I'm going to go over a few tips to make something that used to be easy has become quite complicated. We're going to make it easy again. Let's start with this chair right here. This is a pretty common type of chair you might see anywhere you go. We're going to show you what's wrong and how you can fix it. So as I sit in this chair, the natural tendency for me to sit in this chair is to scoot my butt all the way back. And as I do that, since the way it's shaped, it has this tendency to want to bring my spine like this. When that happens, the pelvis here is shifted back. And by that I mean, we'll call this shifted forward, we'll call this shifted back. Now if you guys have seen a spine from the side, and I'll put that on the screen right there, you know that this part of the spine should be curved forward this way. So from your perspective, that is the opposite of a C. It's shaped like this way. But when I sit on this chair, because my pelvis is tilted down that way, it makes my spine want to curve that way. The effect of that goes all the way up to the top of the head. So you guys might realize that when you sit sometimes you feel like your body just collapses forward, and it's especially true if we're doing stuff in front of us like using a computer or reading. Here I have a completely different style of chair. Maybe you don't have one like this, but I want to show you just to make a point. On this chair, my pelvis has a tendency to tilt forward. So forward means like your belly button's coming out. And when that happens, in fact you might not be able to see me on that screen anymore. When that happens, the rest of my body comes up, because if this comes forward, I have to come up to stay upright. It has a tendency to open up the body, and just like the other chair brings my whole body forward, this brings my whole body up and outright. But I'm going to guess that the chairs that you sit on mostly, the chairs that you have in your house, the chairs you have at work, and the chair in your car are more like this than they were the chair I just showed you. So what are we supposed to do? Well, a few things. One, the problem comes when our hips become lower than our knees. In the chair I just showed you, the hips were above the knees, and it brings my body, the pelvis forward, my body up. With this chair, my pelvis is lower than my knees, the body tends to curl forward, and once again that goes all the way to the neck. One of the simplest fixes you can do is to not let your butt come all the way back in the chair. You can sit at the end of the chair. And when you do that, if you need to, you can bring the knees down a bit. And doing that, once again, tilts the pelvis forward and allows the body to come up. Another option is, if you have it, I use an incompressible foam wedge, which is shaped like a triangle from the side, just shaped like that right there. It's not very pretty. They do make prettier ones. Doing that can tilt the pelvis forward a little bit. They sell these on Amazon. If I can remember, we'll put a link down on this page so you can order one for yourself. They're good to have. They can fix a lot of bad chairs, or at least make them a little less bad. Now, if you're out and about, you might not always be able to have this with you. You might forget it. You might not want to feel like walking around with this. I found that you're often able to do the same thing that this does using a towel or a book or anything that's going to create the effect of lifting the pelvis forward. So here I have just a regular towel. If I put that down on the chair towards the back, and what it's doing now is pushing my bum just slightly forward, so it offers some support from the back so that my body doesn't want to tilt forward, and it tilts it up from the back, and I can do that. And once again, I'm not sitting all the way back in the chair, and that gives me a little bit more support underneath. Most chairs are essentially tilted off backwards, so you have to fall back into the back of the chair. So what you want to do is you want to counteract that by putting a bit of a wedge here, so my butt comes into this wedge and my body has something to sit on. And here's the best option. When you go to places where sitting is not common, I saw this a lot in Thailand and Southeast Asia. I know it's common in some parts of Africa. People don't sit in chairs much, they squat. So here I am flat-footed. I can sit like this way quite comfortably, and this tends to open the body up as well. It's not very common in Western cultures. Most of the people that come into my office can't even do it at first, but I encourage you to start practicing it. I think is one of the better exercises you can do for knee, low back pain without knowing anything more specific about you.